for the week is the word resh. That is the Hebrew word 7217, and it means mind or head or the sum or summit. And it represents in the context of the artificial intelligence that emerges right now, the artificial general intelligence coming to a head with the human development, the human template development that God put in place, when God put in place Adam and Eve, and it created, it evolved in a certain way until we reached these days, like today's age. And the fact that we have a sharp release or a forceful release of artificial general intelligence that's taking over the human mind, we are looking in this week's study at a at the at the context and the effects of the artificial general intelligence, what it will do and what it starts doing already, as we're seeing right now, to the human template, to the human mind. We received this word today, Reash, and we are looking in this context at the artificial general intelligence versus the human template, the human mind template in our week's study. Uh, Welcome, Light Warriors Rising. This is Deanna. I will keep it short. I'm not feeling very well. I am having like a cough or something. I'm not doing very well, so I'll keep this short. But I still wanted to come out and give you at least the context that we're going to look at in today's week at our study, and how this the release of the forceful release, really, because nobody's asked Elon Musk and everybody else who's developing the artificial general intelligence. We haven't been asked if we are in agreement with this, right? So this is a forceful introduction of technology that, as Christians, are aware that is going to cause problems to the human template that God created. So the study word again is Rayash, the Hebrew word 7217, I think. Yeah. And it means the mind. It means the head. It comes from the word rash. The head means the head. But in the context of our study, we're interpreting as we're coming to a summit, like to a bifurcation, I would say, into the progression of the human mind, human creativity, right? The human template as God created Adam and Eve. And then we have this bifurcation in the road, so to speak, if we accept Jesus Christ, and then as Ephesians 2:6 says, let me read you. It says, and God raised us up with Christ and seated us with him in the heavenly realm in Christ Jesus. So not only have we have this first bifurcation of the salvation of Jesus Christ that's provided and sealing the human template, so to speak, so we can be forever in Christ, with Christ, when he takes us up. But now we also have an artificial um, element, right? The technology that's being introduced, starting with ChatGPT and its many iteration, and now with the robots that are coming in, everything going towards an artificial general intelligence, where it's a singularity, towards a singularity, right? So in the human development, let's say, if if the artificial general, if this technology would have not been invented, or keep it separate from dispersing to the public, so just keep it strictly for if they were to keep the artificial general intelligence, the technology, only for studies, like so laboratory studies and medicine development and all that, that would be just a simple technology. But the fact that there is this push to merge it, this is why I said, like it's a sharp development and it's merging, it's intersecting with the human template development, that creates a bypass, so to speak. Once it's merging, it creates a bypass, eh, and the human mind, the rash, it actually starts decreasing. So it won't develop anymore. So besides the biological problems that are going to occur because of the merging of artificial, right, the brain chips and then the mark of the beast, like depending on what they are developing. But we are right now in this time in 2026 at the bifurcation of, or intersection, I should say, in the intersection of the human template development as God created, the human organic life, the human itself, and a sharp increase of the technology that now wants to merge. That's the goal, to merge with a human template. But that effectively will create a will create a decline in the mind, in the creativity of the people, in the mind. And we already start seeing this sharp decline in how we're even using ChatGPT. I was supposed to write an essay this past weekend before a course I'm taking. And sorry, my voice is going off. And it was so weird because until now, even if I was using ChatGPT, I was just using it for like writing like a summary or like little things. But seeing how quickly this happened, like I can see as an educator, I can see how students will go to uh, ChatGPT, or to using make use of their new artificial insert it, right, the brain chip or whatever else is out there, and not use their own. So humans won't be using anymore their creativity, their mind, right? And it's so well known that not using the brain for like challenging your brain, right, by studying and learning languages and writing, and that creativity and that pushes the brain, right? It makes more neurons, right? It fires and makes a lot of neurons, and new connections are being formed. Well, by using now the artificial intelligence that's at our hands right now, it's only going to create in the next 5-10 years, if we're still here, a sharp decline in the human mind, right? That's why we're talking about the rash, in a sharp decline in the human mind, in the human use of the human abilities. There is a reason we have a scale for intelligence, right? For human intelligence. There's a reason why we're teaching, when we're learning. I feel like coughing. Sorry. When we're learning and studying, in college and whatnot, and courses we're taking, we're learning, we're pushing our brains to understand more, and because the brain learns that way, right? You're seeing even at the kids in school, if you don't push them to learn, they won't learn. They will not learn if they can use other other venues. And it's well known, uh, excuse me. So it's well known that kids are using less and less, and students are using less and less their intellectual abilities, right? Their creativity, their brain, because now they're using ChatGPT, for example. So the question is then, being in this time in 2026 at this intersection where we already know that by the end of 2026 we'll have general artificial intelligence towards singularity, and we already have seen these past few weeks the first hint at a singularity type for the artificial intelligence, right? We had the agent bots who went rogue and they created their own. They got offered. That's another story for another time, right? They got offer of platform where they can go and get together. The Molt book, maybe you've heard of it, and they have created their own religion in 2-3 days. They've created their manifesto where there will be a human purge in their mind, right? And because humans are error makers. And side note, the error making process is the one that makes the creativity available or possible, right? We are getting creative we're learning to be, or the more you get more creative, the more mistakes you make. Okay, it's a survival nature of the human mind. So I will keep this short. Again, Ephesians 2:6. I'll read this again. And God raised us up with Christ and seated us with him in the heavenly realm in Jesus Christ. And the question that comes at this intersection of, the human template development is being intersected and hijacked literally by the artificial intelligence, right? By the brain chips, and now the robots will come do all our jobs. So humans won't need any more jobs because there'll be a universal basic income. This is where this is all going, right? That's why they're talking at Davos, where they're meeting, and the World Economic Forum, and this is where all this is going. So this means that this year we are going to be first seated at a show of a intertwining between the human template and the artificial intelligence, with the augmentations that are going to be even more possible. And then this is where, as Christians, we know that because we got told in the Bible long ago, right? We got told in the Bible, be careful of a time when the human will be so subjective and so easy prone to being hijacked. And we know that this is the time. There was none of this, the conversation 20 years ago of the possibility even of the technology to be there to literally hijack the human template to that extent. So we're going to talk more in the next few days, this week, about this same subject. And until then, be blessed wherever you are. I'm Deanna, signing out. Much love.